Chalet Bridgeburners, back from the skate park, same day. Yeah, I saw your comments, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna respond to them, but I just wanted to make this video real quick while the idea is still in my head. I had a great day skateboarding, first of all, which is very important. I had a short little session, lasted an hour and a half. Skate park was empty, a bunch of scooter rats everywhere, which kind of sucks because they get in the way. But if you're fucking twice their size and like 12 times their age, then they move out of the way. So yes, I'm tougher than most 3-year-olds on scooters. Just I have to say that, to convince myself and you guys. So yeah, but I had a really good day, and it's been raining all week, so I didn't get to go this week. And last week I went outside a couple of times, and there's a moral to this story too. Although I was gonna make the same video just saying I had a great session, so do something fun, especially if you're not in a great mood to begin with, because it makes all the difference. But anyway, about the scooter kids and shit like that. Oh yeah, I skated outside last week for the first time, a few times, and there's a really nice place by my house. And this is where the new board I set up. Okay, I made my day in the life video, and I set up a skateboard. And that board, I didn't set it up tight enough. I didn't put the trucks on tight enough. So what happened was they went on crooked, first of all. And look, it's hard to do what I did. It's hard to fuck it up like I fucked it up, but I still managed to do it. So the skateboard wanted to roll to the left. Now, as you keep using your board, it's going to naturally roll to either the left or the right, usually, because depending on the way you stand, it's going to be inclined to incline one way or the other. So I assumed it was that, but actually it was that my trucks, which are the things that hold the wheels on for you guys that don't skateboard, they were loose. So, usually they're like this on the bottom of the skateboard, but they went like that, and it made it curve like that instead of going straight. So if you just kick the skateboard, it would turn to the left and it would go in a circle. And I thought this was just regular wear, but it wasn't. And not only... so, okay, well, what if you tighten them? So, yeah, I did tighten them, and I centered them again. But what happened was that the 4 holes that keep each truck in place, they were elongated. And usually they're, perfect circles, and they became ovals. So the trucks always became prone to move, and they would always get stuck in the same position. So I had a pretty good day a few weeks ago, or last week, I should say, or the week before even. And, I made a skate video that day, and I'm breaking in my new shoes and shit. Anyway, it's in the day in the life. I know I forgot to put the last link up, but I'll link this one up too. So, yeah, and I'm breaking in the shoes, and it goes okay. And the next time I went skating, it was really hard to skate, and things just didn't add up. And I'm pretty hard on myself, and I'm a really slow learner. So I take the fact that I'm a slow learner into account, and most of the time if I can't do something, I'll blame it on myself, because usually it's my fault. Usually it's something I'm doing wrong. But the moral of this story is to check your equipment, and I didn't check my equipment, and I assumed everything was okay, and I assumed that just because I tightened it, it was going to be okay. And then I couldn't land my trick. I could land most tricks, but I couldn't do 360 flips. And that's a trick from the Never Give Up video. And it's a trick where the board spins around one way and it spins around the other way. And I've been working on it for about 3 years since I learned it. And I finally just started to get it the way I wanted, maybe like 6 months ago. And, it's coming along great. And a few weeks ago, I went out skateboarding a few times, and everything else was good except that trick. I couldn't do that fucking trick for the life of me. And usually... now anyway, I get them first try most of the time, and I get like a bunch in a row. And before, when I learned them, I could barely do them for the life of me. And a few weeks ago I went out and I landed all my other stuff, and I was trying to do that trick, and I couldn't do it for the life of me. Out of 100 attempts, I'd maybe land like 1 or 2, and it was really frustrating, and the attempts weren't even close. And it was because the board was veering to the left, and it changed everything. So then I switched that up, and I got a new board. 3 days after I got my last new board. But I got a deal, so it's no big deal. And I changed my trucks too, because the trucks were worn out too. The holes were in oval shape, so my new setup, everything went straight. And I skated on it, and the first day I skated on it, I had to compensate a little bit because I changed my technique from missing the trick so many times that I couldn't do it the way I normally did it anymore. And I was sure that it was me, I was sure I was just sucking, which is why I couldn't do it. So I changed up my stuff, and, it worked. Now, things got fucked up again because I went to the skate park outside, the one near my house, and which is a really nice park, and the ground is really smooth, but there's a lot of wind, and usually you can only use maybe a quarter of the park. So there's a shitload of wind, and again, like I didn't give a shit. So I was practicing my 360 flips in the wind, with the wind, against the wind, diagonally in the wind. It didn't matter, and I was fucking them up again. And this is a trick that, again, even if you can land all your other stuff, the wind will only do you a disservice. And I'm talking like a lot of wind. Like if I throw my skateboard straight up in the air, it'll go flying like 20 feet, because there's that much wind. And especially because it spins around like a helicopter blade, let's say, and it flips the other way as well. But regardless of which way you're going, the wind will catch it, at some point, and prevent it from, doing what it needs to do. And look, if you got this trick down, if you're a master at it, let's say the 10,000 hours theory, then the wind isn't a problem for you. Now, I don't know even if I've logged 10,000 hours on a skateboard. I've thought about it. Like, I've tried to do the math, but like I'm close, but definitely not 10,000 hours on that trick. So, that's so it was the wind that was fucking me up, and I went there 2 days in a row, and I had the same goddamn experience with the fucking wind. And I like that place because the ground is smooth, even though it's windy, and I couldn't land my trick. So I decided to go to another place after, a place with no wind with rougher ground. And the place with no wind and rougher ground, everything worked like a charm. It was beautiful. And I went back there 3 times last week, and it was great. And I didn't get to go at all this week because it was raining, and I was working, and I was doing some other shit. But I went today just to kind of get my bearings, and I had a wonderful session. Wonderful. And I landed the trick. Did I get it for... Yeah, I think I got it first try today. And I got it a bunch of times exactly the way I wanted it. And towards the end, I got it like fucking 10 or 12 times in a row. And not perfect every time, because that's why I kept doing it, because it wasn't perfect. And, it was great. It was a great session. And my spirits are restored. But what I wanted to talk about, that's not the only relevance to MGTOW, but as soon as I got to the skate park, I'm pretty friendly with the guys that work in the shop there, and they greet you as soon as you walk in and shit. And one of the guys was laughing at the other guy because he was going to go pick up a girl that lived like half an hour away, and then bring her to his place to have sex with her, and then drive her home after. And he's like, yeah, you're a fucking chump for doing it. And he says, yeah, but the sex is crazy. So, if you've ever encountered anything like this, guys, you know what to do. Fucking, if you feel like it, mention it in the comments. I know that we're all aware of this, but it's funny, and I don't mean at the guy's expense. So, but, these things, they turn up in everyday life, whether you look for it or you don't. You're going to see someone, or you're going to hear someone talking about an experience in which, a little dose of the red pill might help. So I asked the guy, I said, does she just not want to drive, or does she not drive at all? And he's like, oh, she doesn't drive at all, and there's a lot of shit she doesn't do. He says she doesn't do most things. So in my head, women who don't drive, by the way, I'll link in the description. I'm a professional. I'm a shill for my other videos. So I made 15 cents so far on monetization, but that's not what this is about. So yeah, I wanted to be like, oh yeah, I made a video about that, watch it. But I just told them straight up, I'm like, oh, if she doesn't drive, then it just means that she's not going to be willing to contribute anything. And no matter how good you think or you say the sex is, like, trust me, it'll be a lot better if she actually puts in an effort, because right now she's not doing shit, and it's just a precursor to how things are going to go the rest of the time. And I said I'm not a fucking expert, but I did fucking bitches that didn't drive and bitches that didn't pull their weight, and it sounds like that's what you got. And he's like, oh no, she doesn't pull her weight at all. But he's like, again, the sex is good. I said, okay, fine, fuck, And I said, again, I was like repeating what I said in the video. And I said, at least offer to take the bus. At least fucking offer, you know? And this guy was about 35 and the woman was about the same age. And I said, at least offer to take the bus. And if you offer, like, chances are I'm going to say no because I'm going to come and get you because you're willing to fucking travel. And they're like, oh, well, in that case, I'll take the bus. No, bitch, that's not what the fuck I mean. Like, offer for real, you know? So I said that, and he's like, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, I probably get laid a lot more than you do. Yeah, okay, yeah, with that attitude, great. And then I asked him if he was expected to pay for fucking dinner and shit. And he's like, well, yeah. And then I asked him if he was allowed to hold the door open for her. And he's like, allowed? He's like, I have to. And I said, yeah, and let me guess. You gotta fucking get out of the way, and maybe while she walks through, and you're not allowed to accept the thank you, and maybe, though, she'll let you fucking smell the air as she walks past. And then he's like, oh, she smells so good. So, whatever, you know. It is a rescue, and you, the rescuer, or me, the rescuer, are the most important person in this fucking rescue. It's not the fucking victim with flailing arms who doesn't necessarily want to be rescued, but, you know, you plant the seed, and, you know, he does what he will with the knowledge. So, anyway, at least, I don't know, I'm just trying to fucking tell him that he doesn't have to put up with that shit. So, then, the other guy, this is where it gets interesting. So, the other guy that works there, who's a bit older than me, he's probably about 38 or so, and he says, yeah, you know, he says, I have a theory. And I said, I'd love to hear it. And he said, yeah, he says, my theory is that women who are almost 40, that are single, it's because something's wrong with them. So this guy is cool. This guy knows what's up. And then we got into it, and I said, I think your theory is absolutely correct, my friend. And I have the same theory. And I think it's not just close to 40. I think 30 is the new 40. But between 30 and 40, that's like fucking the Chernobyl of fucking dating. And, you know, I probably had, and in all my years, I had 2 relationships. One of them lasted like fucking 10 days, and we did sex like a couple of times. And another one lasted maybe 2 months, but it was extremely casual. And it was, you know, again, it was extremely casual, and it was a mutual fucking thing, and it was cool. But just 2 out of many. And I don't even mean 2 good ones. I just mean 2 that were like chill and stress free. And one of them, the girl was 21 and I was 31. So she wasn't fucking going through the fucking wall without a helmet. And the other one, I was 33 I was 32 at the time. And the other one was 36. But the other one couldn't have kids. And she didn't want to have kids. And people are like, oh, well, you know, she really did, but she couldn't, so she's lying. Okay, I don't give a fuck. But she couldn't have kids. So, like that, man, that was good. And I'm sure that psychologically, you know, even hormonally, I don't know. I didn't even ask why, because I don't give a shit. That's like fucking music to my ears. Now, if a woman tells you this, I'm not saying it's necessarily true, you know, and, you know, in retrospect, like, I didn't believe her either, right off the bat, but, like, all the details aside, like, she couldn't have kids, and, again, I think that's responsible for how easygoing she was most of the time. Now, she wasn't perfect, and she was just like almost any other woman, and she played stupid games and stuff like that, but I never fell for it. And it's funny because she used to tell me that she loved how easygoing and chill I was, and I would tell her I'm not easygoing and I'm not chill, I'm fucking uptight, and I complain about everything all the time. And she would say, oh, you're so funny, or whatever. So, you know, for whatever it's worth, she was down for me. And she canceled a bunch of times, and I didn't give a shit because I was working a lot, and sometimes I'd see her on my days off. And she lived an hour away in the Laurentians, and she had this nice condo, and she'd give me the key to her place, and I could go see her. Well, I could go whenever I'd go bang her. If I would get there like before her, I'd like bring my dog and make a fire and shit. And it was chill, you know, but nothing more, you know. And how it ended, because again, she canceled a bunch of times, and it was no big deal. One of the things that she supposedly loved about me, that I was so easygoing, but I really didn't care. I just would go skateboarding instead or something. Like, it really doesn't matter. And yeah, one day I canceled on her 2 days before because I had some fucking business to do. And she got mad and she fucking bluffed, and she said, well, if you're canceling on me now, that pretty much means you never want to see me again, so how about we just end it now? And I was like, all right, fine. Like, to hell with you. And that's it. And we never talked again. No hard feelings. But, that's that. And the other one was 21, and that one ended because it was cool. She'd come over once in a while, and we'd fuck, and even the next morning, like, she was chill. She's the only girl that ever Bronx-tailed me and unlocked my door. And the next morning, I'm like, all right, you need to get the fuck out of here, but, you can have a coffee first. And, I made the coffee and shit, and after she drank her cup of coffee, she washed it. And again, it's the only fucking girl that ever washed her dishes. All the other women I dated are fucking disgusting slobs. And I don't look for this, by the way. That's just what I found. So she cleaned her coffee cup. So yeah, I know I don't really have high standards, but, in the fucking hundreds of women that I've dated, like, only one was considerate enough to do this. So after she did this, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? You're not that bad. You can stay for a bit. Let's chill. And, she chilled a little bit. We watched some Impractical Jokers. And me, her, my roommate. And she stayed for an hour and a half or so, and then she left. And it was fine. The rest of the week, I didn't fucking hear from her. And that was cool. But then she asked me if I wanted to go to a show with her, and I said no. She said, why not? And I said, because I hate that shit. And more importantly, I need no reason. And she said, okay, well, what kind of show do you want to go to? And I said, I don't want to go to any fucking show. And then the next day, she called me and she told me that I owed her like $45 because she had bought the tickets to some fucking hipster fucking band, man, that I had never heard of, that like all the kids are into these days. And I said, yeah, anyway, I told you I didn't want to fucking go, and I'm still not going. And I'm not fucking forking over cash for a fucking show that I don't want to go to. And she said, okay. She says, well, call me whenever you want to do something. And I never called her again. And that's that. I ran into her. She's friends with a couple of my friends. So I saw her like a few years later at fucking gathering, And I said, what's up? And like, whatever. And like, it's no big deal. Like, again, that's all there is to it. So, I didn't even plan on telling these two stories, but it's, between 30 and 40. Like, I got a lot more to say about the wall, believe me, guys. And I will. It's my responsibility. So, yeah, so, it's the guy at the skate park today, he knew about the dangers of the wall and shit. And so we talked a bit about it, and I said, yeah, it's fucked up. And I said, that's when their hormones get all fucking shitty, and they realize that everything they did was a fucking mistake. And, the bullshit courses that they were fucking coddled through in university that shouldn't even exist are meaningless degrees. And if a woman ever wound up getting a kind of meaningful degree, she's going to fucking drop out as soon as she fucking realizes that, again, it was a waste of time because she really wants to have kids. So it deprives many, many, many a good man a job who could actually do that fucking job. And we have men doing, stupid shit to pay the bills when women are getting all the affirmative action. And, henceforth. And not only that, that's when they poke holes in condoms and shit. And I told the guy, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, that's fucking terrible. And I wanted to say, I talk about this. I have a YouTube channel, but no, whatever. They know I have a YouTube channel. And they knew anyway because I filmed some skateboarding, like a lot of skateboarding actually, at the skate park. So they check out my stuff sometimes. So again, the seed's been planted. And this guy, I forget his name, but the guy that works there, like he knows what's up. And but the other guy, it's about to go spend a lot of money to fucking go simpering to a fucking woman. Well, that's forget about it. But anyway, plan on uploading all the videos I was talking about in my status update. I didn't plan on doing a less dramatic status update. I wish, honestly, that I could talk only about my drawing program or the music I like or, skateboarding. But a lot of the time, like, I'll talk about what I'm going through. And that's what I was going through. I'm still going through that. And I have a lot of specific videos that I want to make and a lot of specific subjects that I'd like to cover. But at the same time, I'm about to burn a whole lot of bridges. And this is going to be like a fuck you letter. And I don't want to leave the fuck you letter before I vacate the premises. So if I talk about all the stuff that I have to talk about, like prematurely, then it probably won't make a huge difference, but there's a chance that things could blow up in my face as a result of that, and therefore prevent me or hindering me from, achieving the goals that I want to achieve, which is to pretty much pack up, disappear from where I am right now anyway, and relocate in a clean, fucking pure place, and either rebuild my social circle and my business network, or take things as they come. But I need to wash my hands of my current surroundings, nothing more. And that's why I don't want to get into too much detail before I actually do it. So I'd rather just show you guys, my new and improved lifestyle, and then turn around and give the finger to everybody that's fucking wronged me in these past few months. But anyway, I had a great day so far, and there's more good shit to come. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are doing the same thing, and I hope you guys are fucking living it up. And please, as usual, leave a thought in the comments downstairs, like, share, subscribe. And every video I make, it's funny, I lose at least a subscriber for every video, but that's fine, man. It's just a person that gets to know me a little bit better. And for all you guys, and they realize that my content is not for them. And for all you guys that have stuck around, I really appreciate you guys, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that you guys are here. So once again, I hope you all have a great fucking day. Shadowlay, my friends, and I'll see you next time.